Hello everyone and welcome to the Sporty Show. I'm going to make that classic age-old joke and say no, I'm not Sara. My hair hasn't been cut. I am Alex Ashmore, of course, joined alongside
the one and only.
I was going to do something different.
Let's wait for the airware. But yeah, let me hear your introduction. Go on.
Well, no, you interrupted me. So you don't get the surprise.
No, wait. Let me see the surprise. No. I want to see the surprise now. Alex, let me know. No, you can't just end it like that.
Okay. Introducing to the left of me.
To the left. Wow.
Luton Park Football's most infamous unknown footballer. Yes, I know that's an oxymoron because those two words don't go together. Wow. It's KlintonCod.
Right. I just want to remind you that a professional footballer who had played for Spain, played for Valencia, he also played for Barcelona, challenged me something on a pitch in Leganés. Guess who won?
I still think he won.
Wow. You see, Alex, never step your foot into Nigeria. Okay. Yeah, because you are the type of people that Nigerians don't want to see. You know why? Because you are fraudulent. Okay. Everybody pretty much understands that I want that game, I want a professional, and it's on records. The videos are everywhere to suggest. So please, I want Mateta Gaiska, who is meant to be professional, an unprofessional footballer who just didn't make it professionally, a professional footballer who didn't make it professionally, won a professional who made it professionally and was a legend. Okay? Anyways, before we get into the whole stuff, today is a very beautiful day the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad because I have two sets of beautiful young ladies next to me, one from Nigeria, the other one from Italy, is Angel from Mbano, Imo State of Nigeria. I especially greet you, man. How you doing?
When was you always starting?
Why wouldn't I start it like that, though?
Anyway,
Angel, I thought you'd be used to that by now.
Yeah, this man is something else. But good to, I have to go and find out his local government.
No, you won't find it.
Well. But good to be here, as always. Good to be doing this. I mean, so many interesting things to talk about, and I'm always excited when it comes to football. So, yeah, but another beautiful young lady is also sitting beside me.
Spaghetti.
Give us another perspective on things.
Pasta machine.
Clinton,
no,
my God.
come on, man. I mean, we just have to be real with ourselves, man. She's the Italian spag machine. Magina.
Machina.
Well, enough of pasta, Lucrezia.
Yeah. Let's be
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks.
You're going to be on social media duty today.
Yes, I'm checking social media from here, so send all the comments. It's nice to be here at the table with you. We have lots of time to spend together.
Yeah,
we have 2 hours to spend
2 hours is a long time.
2 hours.
2 hours at the Bernabeu. Sorry, not the Bernabeu. 2 hours at the Sporty Studios.
At the Bernabeu.
And you survive it, right? Then you are strong.
Okay.
Because some people have been here, they've not survived it.
Oh, so this is like my test?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, send all the comments to me.
As long as you don't read just the AC Milan positive comments.
No, I will look for the comments that talk about Clinton specifically.
Yes.
Thank you. That's what I love to hear.
That's what we want.
The positive one, right?
Both.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll see what people think.
There'll only be negative ones, so you don't have to worry about the positive ones. Anyway, let's talk you through the games this week on Sporty TV. Starting off later tonight, just after the show, we got Club Brugge against Union Saint-Gilloise. Bolivar against Palmeiras in the CONMEBOL Libertadores. Moving into tomorrow, we've got Kashima against Nagoya in the J-League, and then Chinese Super League action, Beijing Guoan against Henan. La Liga Hypermotion, we've got Cádiz against Sporting Gijón. Then we go to Argentina, we've got San Lorenzo against Rosario Central. And then later on in the week, on the 26th of April, we've got Kashiwa against Niigata. And then Newcastle Jets against Western Sydney in the A-League. And then QPR versus promoted Burnley. Congratulations, of course, to Scott Parker and co. And then Brighton versus West Ham in the Premier League. Frankfurt against RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. And then in South Africa, we've got the big one. We've got the Copa del Rey final. We've got Barcelona against Real Madrid. Mr. KlintonCod himself and Sara Pereira will be in Seville for that one. And then to finish off your weekend after you've rested after that long night that we're going to have on Saturday. We've got Western United against Sydney FC in the early hours of the morning, Juventus against Monza in the Serie A, and River Plate against Boca Juniors in the Super Classico. Guys, quite a week of football on Sporty TV, isn't it?
Absolutely, man. It's a lot of football. I'm just looking forward to the El Clasico. El Clásico. Historia.
You still haven't learned the lyrics.
I've learned a bit of it. If I hear the instrumental, I'll give you the full lyrics, I promise you.
So what is this one that you're singing? This is not the instrumental.
No, that's not instrumental. That's just me humming it. I mean,
this is the Igbo version.
Yeah, maybe I think I would even accept that more. Madrid,
Clinton,
Madrid.
By the end of the season, I want you to know the lyrics, the full lyric.
And how about you also learning the lyrics as well?
I know the lyrics.
Give me the first stanza.
Historia que tú hiciste, historia por hacer.
There you go.
Porque nadie resiste.
Yeah, continue, go on.
Tus ganas de vencer.
Well,
ya salen las estrellas.
That's how you do it.
No, I mean, but I would have done it better though.
But you haven't done it
Where's
better.
the
What do you mean? But I could do it. But do you want to
But
try?
you don't know the words.
What do you mean? I don't know. I know to
and
the
I
extent
still
to which she
perform.
knows.
Try and sing as many lyrics as she just sang there.
Historia que resiste, historia por hacer, porque nadie resiste, gustar.
It's not
You're throwing in your own
Nadia
words.
Buhari.
You're getting there. You're getting better. That was the best one you've done.
Poco a poco, amigo, chica, chicos, come on now.
Yes.
The Abba version, I be doing
By the end of the season, I will be testing you. I promise right now that I'll be testing you.
Oh yeah, cool. Okay. I promise you. Before the end of the season, I'll be good at least the first solo.
Are we gonna have a bet?
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Do you know the whole thing?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I'm not doing it now, but I do.
No.
If by the end of the season, I'm creating a bet. If you don't know the first 4 lines, by the end of the season, you give Lucrezia 20 euros.
That's a little more than 4 lines because he almost knows them right now.
Right, the first 6 lines.
6.
The first 6 lines.
Yeah.
And if I know it, you give me 20 euros.
I don't know, Alex.
Are you willing to sign up for that bet?
Alex,
This is your money. This is not my money.
Yeah, that's it.
Alex, you know how I'm so good at getting
I
people's
would
money
say
when...
the whole song.
The whole song.
I would say the whole song.
No.
Okay.
Come on.
not?
Gracia, you don't even... See,
Are you
You not back yourself,
Are you
Clinton.
Real
You not
Madrid
back
fan?
yourself.
even Alex doesn't even know half of the song. Like, come
I'm
on.
sure he does.
No, he doesn't. Alex, but you know you don't.
I do.
Alex, you don't.
I do.
Alex, why are you lying on national TV?
But historically, anyone who knows me will know I'm really bad with song lyrics. But if the song is up in front of me and is playing, I would be able to sing it.
Okay, it's same as me too. When it's up and playing, I know everything about it.
You've gone to the Bernabeu plenty of times.
I mean, he studied at the Bernabeu. You studied there.
Yeah, and we know the song.
Exactly. No. You know part of it.
No,
He
I
doesn't
know.
even know. He has to
I
hear it
know the
first.
whole song.
No, what? Sorry?
I know the whole song.
There's no proof just yet. Okay? So until we have a proof, then we can agree with you that you know at least. Right now, we're all on the same level.
Well,
Okay, anyways,
that
let's move on.
concludes this week's episode of Clinton's Got Talent, I think. Let's dive into today's proceedings. And, well, here's what's coming up on today's show.
Coming up on the Sporty Show. Real Madrid secured 3 points against Getafe. The title race is heating up in La Liga. We'll take a look at some Champions League action. Is Arsenal ready to face PSG? Of course, we have Serie A action, and we have all the booking codes you'll need. That and more coming up on the Sporty Show.
Well, we were 4. We're now 5. We're joined by Eustace Akwe, all the way from Accra in Ghana. Eustace, how are you doing?
Eustace!
I'm doing great.
What's going on in Ghana, brother?
Everything is fine. Everything is fine, Clinton. Everything is fine. Great. Yeah.
Nah, amazing. When I see, my brothers shining their teeth like this, I'm always very happy because, that region of the world, man, it's either, there's some kind of power cut or there's one thing that's making us frown. Or maybe the internet is, our gigabyte, the MTN is taking it quick. All of this stuff. So usually we don't see them smile, but when you see them happy like this, it makes me happy, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. You're right, Clinton.
Well, good to see you happy, Eustace, of course, and welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show. We're going to start off with La Liga, and of course, last night's proceedings, Getafe losing 1-0 to Real Madrid. Clinton, you were there.
Yeah.
What did you make of the night and the performance overall? I think fair to say a scrappy win, but 3 points at the end of the day is the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. They got the 3 points. However, if we want to go into the game itself, I was, slightly disappointed, which, is more, I think I would say is more of an understandable disappointment because we saw what Ancelotti did there. He was not trying to waste the resources that he has, obviously because of the most important game coming on Saturday, which is El Clasico against Barcelona, whom we pretty much understand that they have, humiliated Real Madrid twice this season already, and I'm pretty much sure he wants to take the game seriously. Now, Getafe, on the other hand, fact is we've got to give them credit, right? They did put up a proper fight, especially in the second half. I don't know what the coach gave them. I don't know if there was any kind of protein shake that kind of like energized them to the point where, that second half, I was like, hang on, why didn't I see this in the first half? Why did you have to wait to, be one goal down before you were able to put up this kind of performance? We saw about 2 beautiful chances that was wasted that, honestly, if, Lucrecia or even Angel was in front of that post, they would have scored. And these guys who missed this goal, these guys are getting paid. Like, you are in front of goal. If you don't understand the reaction of the fans, I was seated literally just next to the president of Real Madrid, Florentino Perez. I was literally just seeing them right in front of me, as well as the owners of, that area where it's all these people. And you could see their reaction. I'm sure Florentino Perez literally thought they were going to lose that game. And we saw Ancelotti at some point in the game. He said, nah, okay, maybe I underrated this team. How about start bringing in the boys? And we saw him making some substitution. He brought in Jude Bellingham. He started doing some kind of changes that meant that, yeah, listen, I want to bury this game. And it was still not working. I felt so bad for Getafe because they could have at least left with a draw because they did deserve it. They did put up the fight against Real Madrid. The one player from Real Madrid whom I really expected that he was going to shut the world up, who, is the person of Hendrik. You guys have heard me speak so highly of him on the show, but I'm beginning to now think that Hendrik he still has some level of growing to do in the sense that, he's not, I don't know if I would say, he's still trying to find that strong foot in the La Liga. Anybody literally sends him to the ground. He's taking the ball, a slight touch, my man is on the ground. I don't know if the gym at the, Bernabéu or you call it Real Madrid training center, if it still works, because he needs to start doing some deadlift. He needs to start training those legs that is going to stamp him on the ground and make him stronger. Because all those time he's penning on the ground, he could have maybe produced 1 or 2 goals. Like, there were quite a few stuff that went on in that game that I felt like, listen, Madrid luckily took that 1 point. But then again, who am I to say it was luck? 3 points taken by the club. We saw Barcelona the other day. It was just 1 goal win as well against
Mallorca.
Mallorca. Of
Very
course.
late win.
It was a late win, absolutely.
Very late win.
Yeah.
You're using that one to console yourself.
Of course I am, because these are the two.
You have to bring it Barcelona and justify.
No, I mean, we have to, because
Yeah.
at this level of the season, what you guys got to understand is every team is trying to get as especially these ones, either the ones who are in the relegation zone, trying to stay in the La Liga, or the ones who are trying to play European football next season. You can see now there's some level of tossing, some kind of fight that's going on. So even these teams that we would define as small teams, they are not relenting because they want to grab as many points as possible. Getafe yesterday, in all sincerity, I give them very huge credit. They did put up a fight against Real Madrid, but then again, Real Madrid, where are they currently? How solid are they? How good are they? We are not really seeing the Real Madrid that we would know normally. And yesterday, a draw, of course I support Real Madrid, but if Getafe had a goal and they ended with a draw and it was 1 point each, I would have been happy. I would have been satisfied that at least all this your hard work, especially in that second half, was not wasted.
Well, I know someone who perhaps wouldn't have been too happy with that result last night was a certain Sara Pereira. Sara, are you still holding the faith that Barcelona will hold on to this La Liga title and clinch another make it another successful season for the Catalan club?
Yes, hi guys. You know what, Alex, I have to, right? What is my other option here? I'm always going to support Barcelona. And I think I said this on the show yesterday with Clinton. For Real Madrid to win, they also need Barcelona to drop points. So definitely it's favoring Barcelona right now. But as we saw against Getafe yesterday, Real Madrid, struggled a little bit. They got the win, which was great for them, but we saw 2 players go down in Camavinga, who's out for the season and the FIFA Club World Cup, and Alaba, who will be missing the weekend's match. So, it's that time of year where it's just any game, everything is so tricky and detrimental, and it's getting a little spicy, isn't it, boys?
It certainly is. Now, Sara, I know you've been trying to avoid 10 or 15 people running around in Leganés shirts that have come from the same place as you have. They are playing Girona tonight. Of course, the last time these two sides met, we had a 7-goal thriller. What's the atmosphere like at the Butarque, and how do you see this one going?
Yes, Alex, I'm definitely avoiding those 15 or so pepinos, if you will. But the atmosphere is incredible here. I don't think I've ever seen Butarque so full. I mean, we've been there, and the stadium is full always, but it feels like there's more people outside today. The traffic was incredible just getting here. The parking lots are full. It's a beautiful day here in Madrid, so everyone is out here. There are blue and white shirts everywhere, and we know how important this match is tonight against Girona.
Only one win in their last 10, Leganés, but also Girona in free fall. It's not been the best of months for them since the turn of the year. Leganés have struggled for goals recently, and I think to have Dani Raba back from suspension tonight is definitely a plus for the Madrid side. Do you see this one as, looking at the remaining fixtures that Leganés have, as a must-win heading into this relegation battle towards the end of the season?
I think mathematically it's not a must-win, but I think for the mentality, it is a must-win, if you know what I mean by that. Just because we've seen Girona, like you mentioned, Girona haven't won a match in La Liga since February 3rd. It's funny because if we were talking about this match 3 weeks back, we would have seen Girona hovering maybe around 12th or 13th. And this match for Leganés is, well, you'd think a win because there's nothing left for Girona to fight for. Leganés obviously having this relegation battle with Las Palmas, Alaves and whatnot. So 3 weeks ago, this was a completely different story. Yet now we're here, and Girona have now dropped all the way to 17th. They're now having a relegation battle of their very own. So both teams have a lot to prove tonight. But for me, Leganés has to win this match at Butarque. They need to use the home advantage and get the win because there's some tough ones coming up for both sides here.
Sarah, is there anybody from that Leganés side? Obviously, so a few of them are my friends. Obviously, you know, I'm part of the players, actually, Sarah, when you come to think of it. I'm just that one guy whom I've just decided to say, we are not playing a very tough team, and I don't want to go. I mean, they are saving me for the tougher matches, and that's the reason why I am still here in the studio. But Sarah, you know, looking at that Leganés team, is there anybody who you think is going to step up to kind of like give Leganés that upper hand to say, Girona, wait, tell that guy behind you that is going to piss me off very soon. But yeah, who is the person you are looking forward to in this particular one, Sarah?
Well, I mean, we always talk about Juan Cruz here, but it's great to see that Yan Diomande is once again getting the start for Leganés. We know how pacey the youngster is, Clinton Alex. We obviously spoke to him. He's so new to the game, to the first level of football here in Spain, but he has so much potential. And I think with the Girona side that maybe has some players a little bit older, maybe not as fast as they once used to be, these daily blins. And, you know, I mean, they're starting Christian Stuani up front as well. But I think Yan Diomande allows for a lot of pace and will kind of open up the flanks for Leganés. And I'm really looking forward to it because we've seen a little bit of brightness with this youngster. So hopefully it continues and can help Los Pepinos move forward.
And please, Sarah, I don't know if you have any opportunity to speak to the goalkeeper, my boy, Mitrovic. I think I was able to send him a message, actually, because we had a bet on this game.
Dimitrovic?
I mean, I don't know if you're only just adding a D.
Sarah, they're pals. They know each other at different names.
Well, exactly. No, listen, we're actually that close. He said to me, no, when you want to call me, for people who are close to me, don't add the D so that I will know how close. People who say Dimitrovic is maybe people like, obviously, you guys from afar. This is, you know, we understand ourselves.
I think I've interviewed him more than you, actually, Clinton, and he knows me on a first-name basis as well.
Yeah. But have you trained with him, though? Has he trained you before?
I can't. I'm going to go ahead and skip that question.
Well, I won't make you answer that question. I won't force you for an answer. We'll quickly go through the lineups for Leganés. Of course, Dimitrovic in goal, González, Sainz and Hernández making up a back three with Valentin Rossier and Altimira at left wing back. Cisse and Renato Tapia, who of course scored his only club goal in 6 years in the reverse fixture of this game back earlier on this season. Juan Cruz, Dani Raba, of course, and Yan Diomande in that starting 11. Sara, you mentioned Stuani. He's the top scorer for Girona this season. They've struggled to replace Artur Dovbyk this season, and they've been in, we talked about the free fall since, I think, their exit from the Champions League. Will Leganés be looking at this game and thinking, if we don't win this, this is perhaps a really bad sign heading into, they've of course got Las Palmas and Valladolid coming up, but could this be, I guess, a litmus test for the rest of their season?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously, Alex, if they don't get the win, like we said earlier, it's not mathematically considered that they are going into the Segunda. But obviously, with only 6 games left, every win is going to help motivate them and keep that level up and, you know, keep the momentum going. So it's not necessarily, like I said, a litmus test. It's not physical. I think this is more for the mental game. This is so crucial for Leganés to win, to lift everyone up and really push them in that direction of getting into La Liga next season.
Well, we'll let you go, Sara, but before I do, can I get a quick prediction?
Do you know what, Alex? I'm going to go 1-1. A point for each side. Cristian Stuani, and who else? Dani Raba.
There you have it. Well, go and enjoy the game, Sara, and hopefully the sun stays out for the majority of this evening. And, well, guys, on Sporty Bet,
thanks,
guys.
guys.
3.23 to win. Girona 2.54. Angel, where are you leaning on this one? Are you seeing a home win for Leganés?
No, I'm going to go with a draw, honestly.
Okay.
Considering how both sides are faring lately, I think both of them are even struggling in the relegation zone. Getafe just a little bit above the relegation zone. Leganés in the relegation zone. So it's going to be a very tough affair. We see how even when teams that are at the top of the table play, you know, bottom place team, how difficult it can be to break them. Not to mention when they're all clamoring for the same thing. I think Leganés is currently on 29 points or thereabout, and if they are able to get all 3 points from this game, they could close in a little bit, you know, on Getafe and the team above them, which happens to be maybe Las Palmas. Can't remember now. So it's going to be really, really a dicey affair. Just going to go with a draw because Leganés is playing at home. Only because they're playing at home. I'm going to go with a draw.
Girona, they are losing this game. This one is very, I don't know. I feel it so strongly. I don't know why, but I just know when you look at the quality of the players from Leganés, when you look at Girona, and I mean, we've seen so many games from Leganés this season already. We've seen them play Real Madrid. We've seen them play Barcelona. As a matter of fact, they did win Barcelona, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Barcelona at home as well. Now,
and Atleti at home as well.
And Atleti, exactly, Alex. Now, the fact about Leganés is they are just that one team that we put up that fight, but somehow they are not, you know, lucky enough to still, you know, either get the draw or that win. You know, and when I see them facing teams who are also struggling like themselves, I think, you know, it might not be an extreme goal deficit when it comes to them winning. It's probably going to be like a 1-0 or a 2-1. Them kind of, it's not one of those that will see so many goals. We've seen this team struggle with scoring goals, especially in front of goal, and it's made me question their ability and why they even get paid playing football. But when they tend to face themselves, I know for sure that Leganés, I don't know, today I think it's a good day for them, and I just hope that my boys there, Neyu, Dimitrovic, and Nastasic. Please don't send this video to him, by the way. He's going to be very disappointed.
Mateta, if you're watching, we're terribly sorry.
Please. That was
very poor of you.
I keep seeing this video now. I just keep finding myself, man. I don't know if this is okay. No, that's not our one. But it was exactly where we were doing our training, just when we're preparing our game against Barcelona. But I don't know why you guys are laughing. You know this is some real stuff.
Why do you not play that game?
Yeah, because they didn't.
You said they're saving you for big games.
Yeah, exactly. But
why did they not play?
Barcelona is not a big game for me.
Okay, Clinton.
Wrong. They put me for Champions League kind of games.
Okay.
Of course,
so against Inter?
What?
Against Inter, you're gonna.
Leganés versus Inter in future Champions League. That's where
2067. Clinton will be 110.
Imagine just like against Inter, against Milan. I want to see you against some big teams.
But you know I'm better than a lot of La Liga players, though.
I don't know about that.
No, I mean, everybody knows that, though.
Well, let us know in the comments.
No,
is
everybody.
KlintonCod better than, what's the word you want to put in there? Most?
Let's say it, I am better than at least 60% of the players in La Liga. 60% at least.
Eustace, is Clinton better than 60% of La Liga players?
Yeah, I believe so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe so.
Thank
I believe so, yeah.
But sorry, Eustace, did you see the goal I scored in when they played against Barcelona? I don't know if you saw the clip.
Oh, yeah, I did. I caught a glimpse
Stop
of it on
lying.
YouTube.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever he promised you, I'll give it. twice. Like, I'm going to double it.
No, but it was a
You know
great
what?
goal. You need to catch up on it. It
Thank
was a
you.
great goal. It was a Caesar kick. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This guy's talking about some goal that
You
I'm
didn't
going to
even
score
know
in the
you
future.
stopped that shot a goal.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I scored a Caesar.
You didn't even know.
Justus, now God go judge you. Now God go
Oh, but now me and you they inside one lane. Oh.
judge. No, we were in the same lane. United diverted to or Express. Go be careful. Now Express, they go. I thought he was supporting me, you know.
Oh yeah, I was to a point.
You see, this is the reason why Africa is not moving forward, you know. It's brothers stabbing brothers. when I thought he was trying to, you know, help me, I didn't know he was sinking me more than what you guys
No,
are
I
doing.
was. No, I was. I mean, I wanted to reference that to the Caesar kick. Yeah. I mean, Clinton looks like a Caesar kick guy. Yeah.
He's talking based on what I look like. He's not talking about the goals. Like,
Well, it's because he's got nothing to look at.
OMG, man.
Eustace, quickly looking at this Leganés Girona game, of course, a 6-pointer in the scheme of the relegation battle that both sides have found themselves in, Girona especially. Where do you see this one going?
This is going to be a very, very difficult one. I think it's a make or break game for both of these teams. Leganés have played well. They've tried to get out of that relegation zone so many times, and when you look at their last 5 matches, they haven't been able to win. But I think the team effort is there. Their last 5 games at home, especially, they've been able to win just once against Getafe, and it looks like one of those ones where you cannot let go, because remember, Girona are on 34 points, just 2 points above the relegation zone, and that makes this game crucial. It's a make or break for any of these teams, because they've got after this, they've got 5 games, 15 points available till the end of the league, and I think that is crucial. But when you look at the fact that Girona have conceded 51 goals all season long, it actually gives you an insight into what their defensive play looks like. It's not solid. The rear guard is vulnerable, and they've come into this game with a formation that is also 4-1-4-1, virtually 4-1-4-1. And when I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at the goals they've conceded this season, I think Leganés really have a chance on this one. It's crucial. I think it's non-negotiable. The vital thing for them is that this game is at home for them, and they need to get the maximum 3 points. With 3 points in the bag, they move to 32 points. It doesn't get them out of the relegation zone, but what it does is that it gives them hope. Girona will also know the danger. I think their job tonight, is actually not to lose. I think they'll be okay with a draw. They've gone out with a 3-4-3 system. I'm looking at their team. I'm looking at Christian Stuani, of course, on top of that attack. I think they'll win if they get the chance, but I thought they'll set up a bit more conservatively for this one. But it's one that's a 6-pointer, and they know a win can for any of the teams can actually reel you out of the relegation zone. So I think Leganés have the chance. It's a home game, and they need to make it count. They haven't been great at home for so long. I mean, the effort is there. The goal scoring has been a problem. I believe only 29 goals scored in La Liga so far. So I think it's a make or break. It doesn't matter if it's flamboyant. They just need a professional victory. They need 3 points in this one. And Girona, who could do with a draw, will have the pressure against them this time. They won't be under pressure at the start of it. But I'm looking at this game, and I think it will be an exciting 2-2 draw.
Wow. 2-2 draw. Well, I see you're also wearing your Girona colours tonight, so we know which team you're going with. I'll just quickly run you through the teams before we head over to social media. So, Paulo Gazzaniga in goal for Girona. They've got a back four of Daley Blind, Ladislav Krejci, David Lopez and Arnau Martinez in the back. And then they've gone for Arthur in that centre defensive midfield role, with Porto, Gutierrez, Herrera and Segankov on the right, with, of course, the captain and top scorer Christian Stuani. Lucrezia, I've seen some comments on YouTube, and I'm sure you've highlighted a few.
You want the Clinton one?
Specifically about KlintonCod's footballing ability.
Ooh, I was still looking at the Clinton is just Micah in disguise on the show. Very hilarious and humoured. This is a good one. This is common.
Yeah, I mean...
You taking that comparison, Micah Richards?
No, I think I'm better than Michael Richards.
At football or punditry?
Everything.
Wow.
I mean, you know, when it comes to the looks, when it comes to the job, when it comes to the football.
Did you say the
professionalism-
job?
Of
The
course.
job?
Wait,
Of course, of course, of course, of course.
Wait. What does she mean?
It's not even in question. It's not even in question.
Like, wait, what's
Yeah.
she on about though? Bro, Micah
Even the
Richards.
barber.
Micah,
And the amount he spends on.
How much do you
bro,
spend
Micah,
on your haircut?
Micah Richards looks like my old laptop, man. Like, are you guys all right? Wait, what do you guys talking about? He looks like a
At least
Windows
we even
XP.
watch him in the Premier League. I've never seen any clips of you playing. He went
Bro, I played
professional.
in Luton, man. I played in Luton, bro.
Yeah, but if I
Michael
if you
Richards
check,
won a
highlight?
Premier League
where are the
title.
clips?
I'm doing this.
Bro, wait, all my clip, some of my
Do
goals
you,
were.
do you have any Champions League appearance? At
Of
least he has 6.
No, listen, sorry.
Wow.
Wait, Champions League appearance though? Do you mean on the pitch or do you mean on a
What
watch
do you mean by
along?
do you mean on the
On the
pitch? What do you mean by
pitch.
the pitch?
Sorry?
What do you mean by in the pitch?
Well, I appeared in.
Do you mean by the roadside?
No, you said Champions League appearance. I appeared in Arsenal versus Real Madrid though. Like, what you guys talking about though?
I'm talking about played as a player on the pitch, like
On the pitch.
featured, yeah.
Yes, I played now, but it was just not really. It was a dream. But at least I still featured. The only difference is you guys just did not see the physical or the video of it.
The
Come on,
physical
man.
manifestation.
What you're comparing me to Michael Richards? Like, wait. Anyways, you see, at the end of the day, it's only in Nigeria they say now condition make crayfish bend. You know that adage,
Yeah.
right? I don't know how to explain it to people who are not
So now
Nigerians,
condition
but-
I make you bend.
No, I don't bend, but I just say it's just that I didn't it's
You did not
condition.
straight
But now
very well.
poco a poco, small. Say you want to see me, I might not end up playing. I might even become a coach before Michael Richards.
Clinton, speaking on your
No words.
skills,
Yeah,
Joseph is saying it's a lie. Clinton can even kick a ball.
he can.
Can't.
Yeah, but yeah, you see, those kind of people now, it's not really a human being. Check it, it's a bot. I don't think that's a real.
That's not a viewer?
That's AI.
Are
Okay.
you saying Joseph is a liar?
It's AI. Can you not see the name? Do you not know what Joseph is in the Bible? Somebody that is just dream. There is nothing. Come, are you listening to a Joseph? Are you all right? Alex, like you might do. Anybody that has the name Joseph, is that who you are listening to?
It's not the one that became Pharaoh.
Huh?
Do you even know your Bible?
Of course. No, for real though. Joseph was
Is
just.
it because you're dreaming? He later became a governor, no?
Which governor of which state?
Egypt.
Which is it? A governor of Egypt. Is that not what they told you? What is the evidence?
Oh,
You've started.
You should see that.
I've just seen a comment.
Did you
pop
see
up.
that?
I have. Lucrezia, do you want to do the honours?
Yes. So we have someone called Benjamin saying, I've played with Clinton before. He's not very good at football.
You see, the fact that there are people who are happy to say that they play with me, are you not seeing the connection here?
No.
Do you know what it means for somebody to claim that they play football with me? It's to tell you how good I was.
A lot of people are playing football every day on regular fields.
No,
now, like,
I didn't play in regular field. I played in a professional setting.
But you never went pro.
I went pro, but it was just not classified as pro.
Well, Clinton, we have a poll now going on. We'll see the results in a little bit. They're asking if could Clinton be a professional football player? We'll come back to you in a little bit with the answer.
Please, before you
Let's
make
see
that
what people
answer,
think.
before you give that answer, please, can you guys go on our Sporty TV YouTube channel and put in KlintonCod versus Mendieta Gaesca. This guy is a Barcelona, he's a Valencia, he is a legend
Lazio.
of Spain.
He allowed you to win now.
What do you mean?
He
How do you know he allowed me though?
I saw
How
it
do you
now.
know how do you know he allowed me?
I saw it now.
What did you see? You saw me and him competing and I won him on it.
Haba.
Did you see my free kicks? Did you see my
I saw your
dribbles?
free kick now.
I remember when I used to play
I saw
my
your
dad
monkey
at chess
post,
when I was a
this
kid, and
day.
he
I
used
saw
to let me
everything.
win.
What are you saying? I saw
I
it.
I had that experience in my life too.
It's just like no, I go into a competition now with Wayne Rooney. He's definitely going to let me win. Do you understand?
Wow.
Just to make me feel good about myself. And that's what happened
obviously
to him.
because you are female, but they're not going to let me win. This is a man-to-man stuff. Like, come on.
But they
what do
see
you
you as a
expect?
man.
Clinton, if you're playing against your kids in a football game, are you letting them win?
No. Why? In this world, you have to win. Okay, it doesn't matter who you brought into the world. You have to win, man. You think I'm going to let those troublemakers? No, come on, man.
Clinton, last, can I do a little
Go
last
for it,
comment?
go for it.
Ezra is saying, where's Clinton's confidence from? I need it.
It's not about confidence. It's about what you can do. Okay, watch. It's on the screen. Watch. No, we should not be starting from that one. Why are we starting from that one? But you see, already I have 3 points. I have 3 points. Wait, now let's make it bigger. Let's go to the free kick area. Better. Let's watch.
Yeah,
Watch this.
yeah.
Mateta is a professional. This guy played in the world stages. Look at it. No. Just look at that. Just look at that. So, do you know how many people scream Sue? Do you know how many people? Everybody scream Sue.
Sue.
Everybody scream Sue. Oh, that was rubbish. Though. Watch this go. Look at the distance. Hey, no, look at the angle. Hey,
Hamstring gone.
No, see, everybody in that stadium, you don't understand their reaction. See, he couldn't. He's a professional. He couldn't even hit the target.
God,
He
Clinton.
couldn't even hit the target.
It was just having fun.
See,
Like he was at his backyard having fun now.
Your own is just bad belly, Joe.
Bad
Clinton,
belly.
people
Your
love
Call
to
it
talk
speed
about
is speed. Don't be
you
calling it
here.
big shovel.
No, your own is bad belly.
Are you sure?
Yes. You need to go and take one medicine.
Clinton. Someone said Clinton just retired early. He's a bowler.
No, come on.
Maybe he had your prime already, and now you're just pursuing something else.
This was the time I wanted him to win. I just had to throw that one away. but despite the fact that I threw that one away, I still won him in this competition. He couldn't even hit any target. Nothing. And that's a professional. This guy is a Valencia legend. This guy is a Barcelona legend. This guy is a Spanish legend. Come on, man.
Well,
guys.
let's move on from.
Thank you. No, let
Clinton.
Lucrecia read some of the comments. Come in now. You see this word, you need evidence. People have now seen evidence on the screen. Lucrecia, read comments.
Yeah.
Read comments.
Yeah.
Clinton could definitely be a professional footballer.
Thank you.
It's a bot.
That is
the name.
AI. That is fake.
No. But ask my Ghanaian brothers, though. Nana is always a real person, though. Look at it now. Look at the name, Nana. You know.
Depay is saying,
Good
how many
question.
national team appearances have you made?
I don't need to appear in national. Which is it the Nigerian national? I don't want to appear in Nigerian national. They are going to kill my career, man. We are talking about real football here. We're speaking
Guy
about
that never
legends.
took off.
Are you guys all right? Come on, man. Jesus.
Well, moving on, I want to swiftly head back to Real Madrid's win over Getafe, and I'm going to come to you, Eustace, and I want to talk about, Clinton talked about one of the youngsters on that pitch, but he didn't mention another one from Turkey, Mr. Arda Güler, getting his fourth goal of the season, 7 goals in his last 10 starts for Real Madrid. Did he warrant, maybe warrant a start on Saturday in the Copa del Rey final, Eustace?
Well, I think so. I'm one of those advocates who've been screaming that Arda Güler needs a lot more playing time. The talent is unquestionable. And I mean, he was probably the best player for Real Madrid because he looked like he was up for it. And that shot, I mean, the confidence to take it on. And I mean, with a few opportunities he's been given by Carlo Ancelotti this season, and I could tell that this boy's got something. He's shown more promise than Endrick. Clinton made a point earlier. Endrick came in and we're expecting so much more, but the adaptation has been a problem. And I look at Arda Güler, and he's a fantastic talent by all means. I mean, that right foot of his yesterday. I mean, you could just look at that goal and take a second nod and say, yes, I think this guy has a future with Real Madrid. Fantastic. But all round, I look at that Real Madrid performance. And on Sporty FM yesterday, I said that I'm sure Madrid were going to put in a professional performance, a very pragmatic victory, 1-0, 2-0, nothing flamboyant. And that's exactly what they did. They need to be in touching distance because I've looked at the fixture list for Barcelona in La Liga. I've looked at the fixture list for Real Madrid. And the story, or what I feel from that is that it's going to be slightly more difficult for Barcelona. They've got tougher opposition. I mean, no disrespect to any of the teams, but I think Real Madrid need to keep their heads steady and keep that team afloat because I believe that with the involvement in the Champions League, Barcelona have a few more games to play. That home and away tie against Inter Milan will take something out of them, and Real Madrid have to be ready to pounce on them. Carlo Ancelotti is rumored to be leaving the club at the end of the season, and I think he will love to do it on the high. I don't think all hope is lost for Madrid at this point. I think Barcelona will falter. The question is, will Real Madrid be able to pounce on the mistakes when they come?
Well,
This Madrid that I'm seeing is not pouncing on any mistake. They're not pouncing anything.
No, listen. They don't need to be flamboyant. They just need to win professionally, like what they did yesterday.
I wouldn't even say that they won professionally yesterday. They were just saying it was a lucky.
It was definitely a lucky one.
Yeah, it was sheer luck.
Yeah.
The fact that Arda Güler took that shot, if he didn't, it would have been a different case altogether. And if Girona and Getafe, I beg your pardon, had taken their chances.
Definitely. But you know what the crazy thing? Just while you make that statement, do you know something I realized yesterday? Sorry, when you were making that point, I remember what I was going to say, but when you interfered, I forgot it, so continue. That's exactly what happened. I'm just
I think
I just remembered. Don't cut it. Please don't cut it. I actually just remembered now, right? What I was going to say, about Arda Güler is, Alex, something I've always said about Arda Güler on the show is the fact that because of the team that he plays for, we hardly see him being himself. Right? Yeah. Obviously, when you play amongst players like a Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham, you're talking about a Rodrigo. These are guys who have pretty much stamped their foot on that Real Madrid ground. Where if you are if you are the kind of person like maybe Hendrik or Arda Güler, and one of these youngsters who have just come into the club, there are some kind of decisions that you will be scared of doing. Why? Because you feel like if it goes wrong, right? What's going to be the reaction? We've seen the likes of Luka Modric reacting to Vinicius. Obviously, because you know that Luka Modric is a legend of football, not just for Real Madrid, but, when you look at his longevity on how long he's been playing, he has the right to say, oi, Mbappe or Vinicius, what you guys doing? But when you look at an Arda Güler or an Hendrik, as a matter of fact, in my opinion, he still has that temerity to do some kind of stuff on the pitch. I've said it so many times on the show. There was a game where he had Vinicius and Mbappe on either side, and he didn't pass the ball, and somehow he shot it from even outside the 10-yard box and he scored. If he hadn't scored it, what do you think they would have been speaking about an Hendrik? Maybe they would have been saying, go on loan somewhere, because you can't come here, have this kind of opportunity, and you can't pass, yet you miss. Yesterday, what we found with that Arda Güler was he realized that, hang on, there's no Mbappe at this point, right? There's a Vinicius who's trying to make things happen. And there was an opportunity to shoot. The Arda Güler I know, for the whole of this season, he would not try what he did yesterday. I was very shocked when I see him take that shot. And he scored. What is he going to do to him as a person when it comes to his mentality? He's going to say, hang on, I've just taken a shot.
That's confidence, for sure.
His confidence is going to come. Next game, he has that kind of opportunity again, he's going to take it. But all this while, we've seen an Arda Güler who's not had that temerity, that guts, to take the kind of decision he made yesterday. Of course, it's against a Getafe. Maybe if he had the opportunity against a Barcelona, he might not do it. Why? Because maybe it's a very big game or whatever.
More pressure.
Of course, it's more pressure. Do you see it? So I think if they start, if they start to, take these kind of chances or take this, kind of opportunities, who knows? We might start seeing more goals from Real Madrid.
I was saying something. People keep saying that Arda Güler is not given enough playing time. But you see, when you come into a team that has this galaxy of stars, you need to establish yourself as a team. And you might not get a lot of chances, but what you do with the little time that you get is very, very important, and your consistency. And that's one thing that Arda Güler lacks. One, you need to be audacious. The second thing is that you need to be consistent. Now, no matter how little the minutes that you give, you have to, shine, make your presence felt. That's the only way you're going to be able to break into that setup.
Definitely.
Otherwise, you're going to see yourself going on loan, or you're going to end up like a Martin Odegaard, who is doing well in Arsenal, no doubt, yes. But I'm just saying that you not live up to the full potential. Now, what makes you a great player, in my opinion, is when, you're in the midst of stars and you're able to shine.
But you don't think Arda Güler is that kind of person at times, though?
I think he is, but he needs to be more consistent. He needs to be audacious. He keeps coming in too humble. The kid, you keep attaching the kid tag to him. He's still young, he's still young. Next thing you know, you're no longer young again. There's some players who have the potential but never became, So you need to be audacious. You need to take things by the scruff of the neck and say, I'm here, and I'm here to stamp my authority. When Jude Bellingham started doing things at Borussia Dortmund, he was just 19 or even less than that. When he even became the captain, he became the captain at 19.
Why are we going too far? There is something I realized about, watching Barcelona and Lamine Yamal, right? Of course, Lamine Yamal, his confidence is probably up the roof. He has more confidence than even Kylian Mbappe currently because of how much people are screaming his name. But do you know something? When I was watching the last game with against the team they were playing against.
Go on, you can do it.
No. Just say it, man. You said it earlier, man.
Mallorca.
Jesus Christ. Fuck, I'm young, man. You're a young man. I'm an old man.
Mallorca.
Okay, Mallorca, right. That's the one. I don't see all these young kids these days, man. They expect you as an old man to start helping them think. You should be thinking. Now, if you notice what he did, I was watching something, right? I saw Ansu Fati. He had the ball, right? And I could clearly see that the Ansu Fati I used to know before, he would probably try to maybe run past somebody and, maybe, I don't know, just try something from the extraordinary. And this is what made the Ansu Fati we used to know today. But guess what he did, right? And nobody took note of what I'm about to say now, but I saw it in the game and I kind of like read some level of meaning to it. Lamine Yamal was standing next to him. At that point, I didn't think that a pass was necessary. Whatever you want to do with the ball for a Lamine, you could have done it because you guys were like just a tiny inches away. But he probably felt like, hang on, I don't have the level of confidence this young man has. Let me give him so he's able to do that playmaker type of play. Because you are the one people now know. You are the one whose confidence is off the roof. You are the one who has that, audacity that you mentioned earlier. And he kind of like, he gave me some level of, I was reasoning, I was thinking about this stuff, and I'm like, this is how crazy your mentality could really get messed up if either you are taking chances or you're not taking chances. I could clearly see it among these youngsters from Barcelona. If Endrick or Arda Güler want to start creating name for themselves, they would obviously have to start doing what these people like Lamine Yamal are doing, because we see Lamine Yamal, he gets the ball, he doesn't care who is in front of him. My man is thinking about how he wants to run past you. He wants to nutmeg you. He wants to even try putting the ball at one part of the post to see if he's going to score. It doesn't matter if he goes in or not. But nobody's going to come for your head. Why? Because you've proven to everybody of the manner of person you've become. And you will see, as young as he is, he's probably the youngest Barcelona player, right? I mean, he's the youngest player there. But I can tell you that everybody pretty much look up to him, even at that age. Why? The reason is only because my man is taking every opportunity that he has to prove to the world who he really is.
I want a last little thing on Arda Güler. We've seen him play on the right quite a lot this season, Angel. Last night, we saw him more through the middle. Do you think, and I'm sure Ancelotti said this, he said this in his press conference last night, that we know that, well, he now thinks that Arda Güler is going to play more through the middle and less in attack. For me, last season, looking at the way he played when he did play in the middle, he was fantastic. It feels strange that, yes, I know they're not going to drop Jude Bellingham, but it feels strange that I know they've not forgotten that, but it feels strange that they've gone away from that and it's taken them so long to get back to that.
Exactly. It's really, really shocking for me because even when he plays for his national team, he operates more
He's a different Arda Güler.
Yeah, because he operates in his usual role.
Yes,
you understand? So it's very difficult for some players to adapt when you move them to a wing that they're not accustomed to. So in his national team setup, he's allowed to play like an 8, like even a 10, But in this Real Madrid setup, because of Jude Bellingham being in the middle, and the way the midfield is set up, he's forced to play out wide, which is not his preferred position.
No, but he's playing out well. But you know the funny thing, even in Turkey, right, there was a goal he scored at the Euros where in my head I'm like, my man literally came from the wing.
It was
beautiful,
wasn't it?
And I think that's the word. Now, let me tell you, right, the reason he was able to do those kind of stuff there is because he's built a confidence in that national team where even if he does not score, it doesn't matter. Why? Because they already see him as a young hero for the country. Right? Yeah. But that confidence he still does not. For me, it's not even about the wing at this point. It's about confidence. It's about what you're able to do even when you have the ball. Yeah. Because even if they play him in Turkey to play where he's currently playing in Real Madrid, I'm telling you, he's still going to shine.
In Turkey also, he has a free role. You understand? Like,
so Clinton,
he has a free role to roam around
Clinton, that
do
confidence.
He likes. They give you that, that opportunity to play freely.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that at Real Madrid. But it still brings me back to my point that even if you cannot... We've seen players that are even utility players. We've seen David Alaba, for example. He's played in the left when he was with Bayern Munich. And then he's playing central, yeah. There are players that, we've seen Michael Essien, even when he left Chelsea and came to Real Madrid, when he played with Real Madrid, he was used in different positions. So you have to make yourself that kind of, it doesn't matter, no matter if they give you half chance, take advantage of it. We've seen Jose Mourinho deploy the likes of Mikel Obi from a more central midfield position to a defensive midfield position. The Mikel about it. No, he's still fed. You have to find a way to adjust. Whatever opportunity you're given, if it's in the middle, if it's on the wings, whether on the flank, just take advantage of the opportunity and make sure that you give your best. You're remembered for that. I don't know why Carlo Ancelotti is making that statement. He knows where his usual role is. He knows that the young man has been struggling for the wing, but it just still brings me back to the point that it doesn't matter whatever position that they give to you, provided it's an attacking role. They're not telling you to go and defend. Just make sure that you seize the moment, take advantage of the opportunity, and try to establish yourself in that team. I feel he has the potential. And what better time to do it other than now that Real Madrid is struggling? If you're not able to shine now, I don't know why you want to shine.
But listen, look at that goal he scored yesterday. I mean,
Yeah, that was a beautiful goal, honestly.
Justus was actually going to make a
Yeah,
statement.
Yeah, that's what were you going to say?
Yeah, so I was gonna say that I agree with all of what you're saying, but that confidence we are asking for, we sometimes I think we forget Arda Güler is only 20 years old, but that confidence comes with game time. Lamine Yamal has played, and we forget Yamal's age because he's played so many times, and that's where the confidence comes from. When we saw Ansu Fati play for Barcelona consistently, we saw the confidence go up. So I think that confidence is built on the fact that you are consistent on the field. The more time you spend, the more likely it is that you will exhibit those levels because the ability is not in question. It's there. You need time to express it. Look, Arda Güler expresses himself wonderfully when he's in a free role, whether he's playing for the national team, whether he's playing for Real Madrid. But with a squad like this, he's definitely not going to get that role. We've got Jude Bellingham, and like you are saying, he needs to adapt. He needs to adapt to be able to fit into any position. But I think from Carlos' interview last night, I listened to it. I think I don't know if he'll be there next season, but he's gotten the gist that Arda Güler can be trusted with more responsibility going forward. I mean, I'm sure previously he might have thought he's a youngster. If you trust him with that big responsibility, we've got Jude Bellingham in there. But it could actually give you the option of playing a bit more dynamically and expansive if you are trusting him with more responsibility. I think he's a great player. Age is not a limitation these days. And going forward, I think initially I was shouting that Arda Güler should go on loan to get more playing time. But with what's going on at Real Madrid, I think he can actually stake a claim in the team and actually own a position in the current setup.
Justus, do you reckon Endrick should be the guy going on loan somewhere just so he gets more playing time?
Yeah, I agree. Endrick, I agree, should go on loan because I'm looking at that front line. He's going to have very limited minutes if he doesn't go on loan. Rodrigo, Vinicius, Mbappe. I mean, he's always going to be second fiddle, and I think a loan is not a downgrade. A loan is just an opportunity to show what you are made of
and what you can do. Yeah,
we've seen what Anthony is doing at Real Betis, and I mean, look at his form for Man United. And like I said, it comes with the game time. The more games you play in, once the ability is there, it's definitely going to show. So I think Endrick, the ideal thing for Real Madrid. You were speaking earlier about his physicality, even. I don't think his physicality is up to scratch for the La Liga. Probably he should go out there and get a bit more grinding to the European style of play, because it's going to be a problem for his development. We saw Vinicius Jr. when he came to Real Madrid. He bided his time. He was introduced gradually until he held that starting spot in the lineup. So I think Endrick, his team, his management should be able to realize at this point in time that he should go for a loan deal. That will help in his development massively.
Well, an update just to swing across to the south of Madrid. Leganés, of course, playing Girona. 22 minutes in, Seydou Cissé has been sent off for a challenge on the last man. Leganés are down to 10 men. It's still 0-0, 22 minutes on the clock. But not a good start for Leganés. Lucrezia, I think that Arda Güler chat has brought up a few comments, hasn't it?
I was going to say, I want to read a few things. First of all, we had our poll on YouTube. Does Güler deserve to play in the starting 11? So we have a 66% of yes and
I'm glad you didn't read the other poll of KlintonCod.
That's what I thought she was going to read. Like, come on, we cannot be doing this. I knew. See, I told you not to do. I told you not to do this Shantelle stuff. Right. No, that was a joke, though. You know, Shantelle is our baby girl.
Shantelle. Anyways, let me stick to
sending out love to
the conversation.
Shantelle, I'm sending out love to you, wherever you are, you know.
So Rosé is saying, true, Arda Güler can play, but lacks play time. Then we have Kelvin saying, if Arda Güler scored against Getafe, doesn't mean he can play against Barcelona. In fact, you should watch the game from the stands. So someone does not think he has the skills. Nana saying, I don't think Arda Güler lacks confidence. It's probably because of his style of play. I saw also another comment before. Oh yeah, Benson saying, Arda Güler is one of the creative players at Real Madrid, the third best after Luka Modric and Jude Bellingham. like that comment. They're showing some love to Arda.
I wouldn't even put him behind Jude Bellingham, honestly, in
sorry.
terms of creativity. I think he's more creative than Jude Bellingham.
Arda Güler?
Yes, he
Really?
is. He's not putting in the work, but he's more creative than Jude
I
Bellingham.
don't know.
I'm talking about raw potential now.
Sorry,
I'm
hold
not
on.
talking about him
We're gonna
putting in the work.
We're gonna come to this, but can you read the other poll, please? We'll come to this. Stuff, sorry.
We have a few.
Should Ancelotti
Which
give more
one?
opportunities to Arda Güler?
That's not the one.
There was another poll. Can Leganés win tonight?
Whatever.
Does Güler deserve to play in the starting 11? That was the only poll. Those are the
I
only
don't
polls
see
we have.
any other, Clinton. I'm sorry.
Wait, they deleted that poll?
No, it just disappeared into the
But
abyss.
there's another comment I
People are
want you
wicked,
guys
yo.
to listen to.
Okay.
Benson saying, if Carlo Ancelotti does not keep giving minutes to Arda, Xabi Alonso will, and that says it all about Xavi's appointment as Real Madrid manager. So I guess people are saying Xabi Alonso coming and using more of the youngster.
Could Clinton be a professional footballer?
I don't see that.
I see it. That's why I'm going to help you.
End of suffering.
Just in case you cannot see this, just here,
Oh,
right?
I don't
You
have
know,
it.
68% of people believe that I could make it as a I should be a professional footballer, actually.
Clinton, we moved on from that
I
conversation.
mean, I just needed to remind you. All right, let's come to Arda Güler. You know, it's just so people were able to. You understand? You see what people think? You know, they watched even Eustace even believes. He saw my very beautiful goals. You know?
Another
Great technique.
Another
Great
comment
technique.
saying Arda is better than Yamal. He just lacks the game time. If he was in a team like Dortmund, nobody would be talking about Yamal anymore.
I really don't. Well, I think that's them
That's
stretching it out now.
controversial, but-
Saying that
That's a little
Lamine
controversial,
Yamal.
but hey, everyone is entitled to their opinion. So I'm just doing my job.
Lamine Yamal, I don't think anybody should be comparing him to any young star currently in football. You know, although I'm very angry with Lamine Yamal for what he did, at the last game they had against Mallorca. That one, he had a one-on-one. I don't know if you guys saw it. He made the perfect. I'm used to that. I don't know if you watched that.
Yeah, I saw
that game.
I saw it.
You saw.
I saw
I mean, the run was perfect, but this was a one-on-one. Him versus the keeper, right?
Yeah,
Everybody who would understand Lamine Yamal and the level of play that he's currently on, that's a goal before he even kicks the ball, right?
Yeah.
But till this moment, I'm still thinking like, although this is football, that's what I was going to say.
Exactly.
It would happen to a Lionel Messi, it could happen to a Cristiano Ronaldo. But for this youngster who's used to sending people on the ground, maybe there was maybe he was expecting that he was going to do one of those maniacs where the keeper might go one somewhere and he just maybe sends the ball as it passes into the goal. But it just didn't work for him. And I think that was the highlight of that game against Getafe. Was it Getafe? No, it wasn't Getafe. They played, sorry, Mallorca. I keep thinking.
Third time lucky.
No, sorry. But no, I think comparing Lamine Yamal to Arda Güler, I think is us taking it too far. Lamine is a proper stretch. Lamine Yamal is just a child who has taken football to another level for anybody who plays on that wing. As a matter of fact, if we are speaking about the best wingers in the world right now, there are people who tell you that Lamine Yamal is probably the best winger. They're not even going to mention a Rafinha. They will not mention even a Mo Salah, who has all the goals for the Premier League this season. People will
And you know what's interesting about Lamine is the fact that he's replicated it in the national team setup.
Absolutely, absolutely.
A lot of people would say, oh, he was able to break into the Barcelona setup because of, they were battling some financial issues. They needed to get young stars to help them. They couldn't afford to buy, the kind of players that they wanted. So that's why he was able to break in that. Probably if he was in a Madrid setup, would he have been able to break in as well? Break in. But I think he would have. He would have like
the age-old question: would Lamine Yamal have been the same player?
If he was in Real Madrid instead?
Well,
with Barcelona, he had enough space. There was nobody dragging the position with him.
Hold
on, please, 1 second. If it was the time of the MSN, when they had the MSN, would he have been able to break in?
No, hold on. I mean, that's a whole different. See, sometimes the way I see football is every era or every single. There's something about football that changes, right? And people have to adapt to the setting according to maybe the coach or whatever, level of play, and even the team they play against as well. This is what they have to calibrate their brain to. But anyways, let's come back to. I just wanted to read a comment from a Rose commentator.
Yes.
Please, if you don't mind.
Looks like you don't know where the pressure is, guys. Lamine doesn't receive pressure because he's a winger. Arda plays middle forward and also decisive midfielder, and he had confidence at Fenerbahce.
Okay, Alex and Eustace, or everybody who loves football, the winger and the midfielder, who has more pressure?
I think both. To a
yeah.
certain
Both of them
extent.
have pressure,
Yeah.
honestly, because they're playing in an attacking role. You understand? Once you're in that attacking position, it's
But
really...
We do, just to
honesty,
jump
though.
in, I know, Eustace, you can't stay with us too long, so I want to get your opinion on this question and I'll let you go. Who is under more pressure, a midfielder or a winger?
It's difficult to say. I mean, it's difficult to say, and I think this is largely down to tactics. Certain teams play with wing backs, and certain. I mean, previously we had the traditional winger when we had the Ryan Giggs, Antonio Valencia, we had Steve McManaman. The winger's role was different, but in this modern game, we have them playing as inside forwards virtually. You look at Mo Salah now. Wingers have to have numbers, statistics to back their goal scoring, their assists. But previously, it was just a crossing thing. So I think there's much more responsibility on the winger in the modern game, the way it's evolved. You have to also track back and defend, cover your fullbacks. So it's a major responsibility. I look at the middle of that pitch, and that's the engine room where the game is also won. I look at what PSG have done in midfield. I look at what Barcelona is doing in midfield. All the young guys, Thomas Partey for Arsenal, Declan Rice, what they are doing. It's a lot of responsibility, and I think you are sort of the stopgap between the defense and attack. So I think it's major responsibility on different parts of the field, but I don't. It will be very difficult for me to equate one as better than the other. I think they are all very important roles. But the engine room comes across as very crucial because maybe I'll tip slightly in favor of the midfielders, because if it doesn't work and you are playing in central midfield, sometimes the wing play is very, very still. Man City will be my case in point, because without the same midfield and without Rodri, look at the statistics for Phil Foden, look at the statistics for all the wingers, even Erling Haaland when he's fit. That supply line is not there. So I think everything is centered around the middle of the pitch, and that's the engine room. That's what protects the back line, and that's what obviously leads the transition forward and makes the game play for the team. So I'll slightly go in favor of the middle of the pitch having more pressure than the wing, because sometimes you can decide to go central and evolve the whole game plan around that, and you can do without the wingers. But I mean, it will be very unfair to say that a winger carries no pressure, because in the modern game, like I said, it's actually very, very difficult. So I'll be on the fence on this one. Yeah.
Eustace, before I do let you go, and we didn't quite get to talk to you about this one, can I get a prediction for the Copa del Rey final this weekend?
Real Madrid are in no position to win this one. I don't think they deserve it on the balance of play. I mean, I look at what Barcelona has done to them the two previous times they've met, and I still don't think that Real Madrid have a solution to Barcelona just yet. They failed to replace Toni Kroos from last season, crucially, and that is what has undone the whole team. And I think they'll suffer for it till the season ends. Barcelona will win the Copa del Rey comfortably.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much for joining us, Eustace. And
right.
Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy whatever's coming up on Sporty FM, and well, hopefully speak to you very soon. So thank you, Eustace.
Eustace, enjoy, man.
Bye, guys.
Enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
All right, sure.
Really quickly, I have another comment on
Go for
Arda.
it.
I wanted you guys to hear. So Arda shouldn't be sacrificed. What Madrid is doing right now is not working. They need to start taking risks, like playing Arda at number 10, then drop Judah to 8. Camavinga and Vini are the players who should be sacrificed and let go. And then he also adds, Gyökeres, sorry if I pronounce it wrong, is in form. We need him, and Isaac as well.
Okay.
What do you think about?
I was
You say
just before.
let Vini go?
Yeah, they said Camavinga and Vini are the players who should be sacrificed and let go.
First of all, before we actually come to that, please remind me of this comment. I just want to come back to this comment about the whole pressurable stuff. You know, if it was the midfielder, because I think I slightly have a different opinion when it comes to that comment. You see, I love the fact that Eustace did mention something. He said that it depends on the setting of each team,
yeah.
right? And there are teams where the playmakers are usually from the wing, and there are some of them where the playmakers are usually from the midfield, and there are some where the playmakers are just all around. Say, for example, when you look at Barcelona, you could see that they have playmakers, in the Rafinha and Lamine Yamal playing from both wings, and then you have the likes of Gavi, Pedri, you have a whole bunch of them who are being that engine guys. But then again, the reason that something that's working for Barcelona is the fact that every single wing, there's some kind of productivity coming out, even going back to the defensive wingers as well. When you look at Koundé, you look at Balde, there's just something going on for them that means that, there's even the goalkeeper who's supposed to be smoking normally, my man, even when he's doing the job, he's like doing it. This is actually a retired goalkeeper coming back, and he's still giving you that, 8/10 level of performance. Like, everything is working. However, there are teams also where you look at them, you just know that the midfield is weak. Especially when you look at Real Madrid, since Toni Kroos is gone, there's not been, like he said, there's not been that replacement, which then means that they are putting pressure on the wingers. So the wingers now have to do the job. So now, if a Vinicius is not performing and Rodrigo is not performing, what are we going to say at that point? Real Madrid is dead, right? So now, at this point, who do you say the pressure is on to make something happen? It's the wingers. So that's the reason why, if you watch a game at the Bernabeu, and Vinicius is not able to take on defenders, or every single dribble he tries to make, it doesn't go in, you see people getting agitated, right? They're not thinking about who is in the midfield and who's meant to be distributing it. Why? Because right now, it's just not happening in midfield unless there's a Valverde, whom we pretty much understand he has the strength. And when it comes to leading that attack as well, striking those, bomb-like type of shots, this is what he's known for. If he's going to play that right back that they usually substitute him for when there's issues or crisis in Real Madrid, right, what do you then get? You get pressure on the wingers, because these wingers now have to make sure they are bringing the ball into the 18-yard box for the life of Mbappe to sink in the goal. So now, if you're not getting it from those two wingers, what happens? It just means that you're watching a dead game.
It just comes down to the whole transition in modern day football. Like previously, in the past, all you have to do is the wingers just have to get the ball up front and cross it. The striker was the person who had more of the pressure, like to get the goals,
absolutely.
to get the goals.
Yes,
you understand? The number 9. It was very important that you have a number 9 that is, like a fox in the box that could convert chances. Because all the wingers have to do, whether it's the left back, people just run forward, give it to the winger, and then they cross it to the middle, and they expect. The person playing the number 10 role and the striker, if it's coming from the middle, or you, the winger, just running and crossing it. But in recent time, it has changed, where they now require you as a winger to cut and shoot. And that was why we saw somebody like Ronaldo, who was playing from the right in Man U, when he moved to Real Madrid, because the game was not transitioning, he was now playing on the left, so that you can cut and shoot. And Gareth Bale, who was playing as a left back before in Tottenham when he first started, when they started seeing how good he is going forward, when he came to Real Madrid, what did they do? He started playing on the left, so that he could cut and shoot with his left. You understand? So now the pressure now went away from, if Benzema doesn't get a goal, then nobody cares, because they know that Cristiano Ronaldo was started with the responsibility. They know that there's a Gareth Bale that can cut him from the left and shoot. Do you understand? So it's just a transition in modern times, like from what it used to be, what the role of a winger used to be before, to what the role of a winger is now. As a winger, they expect you to get goals.
Of course.
They expect you to, cut and shoot.
I
they
feel like
expect you to create chances.
football has changed in total, because
it's changed in a lot of ways.
When you look at the fact currently that even the defenders are not even leading attacks. Like, if you are a defender who's not leading attack, they think you are just a mere defender. And that's the reason why, when we were speaking the likes of O'Reilly in Manchester City recently, we were saying that what are the qualities of this player? It's not the fact, and we're trying to make that difference between himself and Lewis Kelly from Arsenal, right? And we were saying that one of them was a stock as defender. His job is just to defend, right?
Yeah.
And even when he goes front, you know that, okay, this is not your forte. But when you look at an O'Reilly, or even when you look at the likes of Guardiola in that same Manchester City, these are defenders who are able to lead attacks. So when you look at Koundé, for example, I've seen Koundé do jobs of what you would expect from a right winger. I'm talking about what Lamine Yamal does. You see him as a defender, even taking out defenders and getting ball into the 18-yard box. And if he's a Lewandowski or a Ferran Torres, as in, these guys are scoring goals from a defender. This is not even a winger. So for me, at this point, I think it depends on the setting.
Yeah.
What's
and
working for
another
a team.
interesting thing. Before, they used to be like fullbacks, where you just say right back, left back. Now we have things like wing back.
No, of course,
Like
absolutely.
Trent
It's
Alexander-Arnold
changing.
running the whole thing and
Yes.
contributing. I think this whole thing even started with Marcelo, when Real Madrid then wanted to play. They have the Marcelo. If they want to now defend strictly, they use the Contrao instead. And then in the case of Barcelona, then they had a Dani Alves who changed the game. He gave Lionel Messi, a lot of assists, running from the back, defending, and also crossing the ball. Then you had Jordi Alba on the left wing, who would also run forward and cross the ball. So they would defend, they would also contribute to attack. So those times, that was where we began to see that transition in the game, where it's no longer just, a fullback now. You now have to become like a wing back, like an Andy Robertson,
of course,
or you have to become a Trent Alexander-Arnold. So the game has really, really changed in a lot of ways.
As much as I would love to stick on this topic for hours, and we could do, we are a little pressed for time, actually. We only have 45 minutes left, believe it or not.
That's a long time, though.
I'm just going to wrap up the rest of the fixtures from this round of La Liga. Of course, we've got some other games going on tonight, but of course, last night, Athletic Club beat Las Palmas 1-0 with a goal from Iñaki Williams. They are now 3 points behind Atletico Madrid, who face Rayo Vallecano tonight at the Metropolitano. Celta Vigo beat Villarreal 3-0. Alaves with a big win against Real Sociedad, 1-0 win there. And then, of course, the other games tonight, Leganés and Girona, still 0-0 with Leganés down to 10 men. Osasuna 1-0 up against Sevilla, who are also down to 10 men. So red cards galore. And then, of course, Atleti versus Rayo and Real Betis against Real Valladolid. Guys, we're here this week. The build-up has been slowly brewing. I think we've perhaps gone past the chopping up the veg stage and we've put in the chicken stock. It's now boiling at a nice level. We've taken the lid off after 45 minutes. And
I better stop making me hungry, man. I don't understand this whole... Now you're making me remember the little chicken I was eating earlier, man, because this is the same process I went through.
I want to talk about the Copa del Rey final. Because...
That's why it's telling me about... Very soon he will tell you, put curry, put thyme, and then you would now...
That's later. So... We're gonna touch on the Copa del Rey final. Of course, you and Sara are going to be there, and we're going to be doing a show for it. And we're in store for a great game, of course, an El Clasico, our third of the season. Barcelona have won the first two, 4-0 at the Bernabeu in the league, 5-2 in the Spanish Super Cup in Saudi Arabia back in January. Ancelotti's been under a lot of pressure. The rumour is that he's going to be leaving at the end of the season. Whether he leaves after the Copa del Rey final is yet to be seen. Can Real Madrid win this one? Do you give them any chance?
Honestly, they say a team is as good as its last game. So if I'm going to look at how they fared against Getafe, then it doesn't look good at all. Because in that game, you would expect them to see off. It's the Real Madrid and with the kind of players that they had. Even the bench, the young crop of players that they started the game with could not do the job. When the big boys came onto the pitch later on in the second half, they still couldn't deliver. So, so I'm not very confident in this Real Madrid side. But, one thing that it's a derby. It's not a derby. What do you call it? It's a Clasico, yeah? It's still a derby. Can we say it's a derby?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not really a derby, though.
I mean,
you know where a derby is?
Yeah, because
a derby is like two teams in the same city playing together.
Okay, let's not call it a derby then. Let's call it
It's a
Clasico. It's an El Clasico. Let's not replace it with any other thing. So it's an El Clasico. So you could say like a different, a different spirit comes over these players when they meet each other, these two teams, because you're not just playing to win, you're playing against your arch rivals.
This is history.
This is history and all of that. But then, as much as you want to put that at the back of your mind, you look at the lackluster attitude from the Real Madrid player, the sloppy play. There's no grit. There's no, there's nothing. There's no motivation in how they play. It's almost like they just want to see the season off, and then you're not going into it looking confident. Like it doesn't look pretty from where I'm looking at it. So I would be very surprised if Real Madrid actually beats Barcelona, because Barcelona is high on confidence right now. Everything is looking good for them. They're sitting pretty at the top of the La Liga. They know that if they get this in the bag and the La Liga already looking like a secure for them with the way Real Madrid is playing, then they have a very good chance of just waiting to see how they fare against Inter. So, and I know that Hansi Flick, being the coach that he is, he wants to win everything that is in front of him. So it's going to be a tough one. If Real Madrid wins it, I'm going to come out and say, I apologize to you. I was wrong and I gave it to you, but with the way things are now, I don't think Real Madrid stands a chance, honestly.
Lucrezia, the last two finals between these two sides have gone Real Madrid's way. Barcelona haven't beaten Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final, final since 1990. Can they make it three in a row, or are you leaning towards Hansi Flick's Barcelona?
I think we need to take into account the way the two teams have been performing this year, not really like head-to-head games in the competition. I don't know, Real Madrid really has to change something because they can't lose that poorly 3 times in a row against Barcelona. But
They
I
can.
I know, but for,
Yeah, I get what you mean, yeah.
But even the comments here saying, 80 Samuel says Barcelona 3, Real Madrid 1. Barcelona looking to win it for the 32nd time. Everyone is believing that Barcelona can win this.
Clinton, who do you believe?
First of all, I'll say the Spanish sentence, bad ser muy difícil, right? Para Real Madrid, right?
Oh, yeah.
For those of you
Well
that
done.
don't, right, thank you.
For those of you who don't know, he just said it's going to be very difficult for Real Madrid.
Yeah. If
Only you said it with Igbo accent.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Man. If anybody does not give me any kudos for my Spanish, man, I'll be very upset, man, because I'm speaking better than a lot of some La Liga players who live in Spain. But all right, let me not gas myself up too much. That game is going to be very, very difficult for Real Madrid. I don't see it being very difficult because, like Angel did mention, when you look at what's currently happening with Barcelona, there's a lot of confidence. They are winning games. They are currently, obviously, playing very high-level football in Champions League, currently leading in the La Liga table as well. Facing a Real Madrid whom they've beaten twice this season already in the 2 Clásicos so far. So the question is, what would they be thinking? The people who the pressure is on currently is Real Madrid, because first of all, they've not been performing the best in all competitions. Even in the La Liga, they've been winning games mistakenly. We saw the loss was against Valencia.
Yes.
Valencia, they lost against in the Bernabeu, which was a very sore one, especially just the moment they came out from the Champions League as well. So, they've recently just faced a Getafe that they mistakenly won. In fact, the last 2-3 games that Real Madrid have played, they've only been scoring like 1 goal each. I can't remember. I think that is what it is. So it's not really been very rosy or sweet for Real Madrid, and facing this current Barcelona, whom, when you look at Barcelona's setting as well, they've rested quite a few players. Koundé, whom has had how many games run? Like the 100.
It's over 100 consecutive
I think it was 114 actually. He's gone 114. I don't know the specific number, but I think it's about 114 games consecutive, and they've decided to rest him. So that's the reason why he didn't play the last game. And they're going to come into this game with that full energy, right? And mind you, Rafinha was also somebody that they rested until they felt like, okay, this game was getting a bit dicey. Let's bring in him at the later minutes.
Similar to Bellingham and Getafe last night.
No, of course. But then again, now we are looking at the quality of the players now, right? I think the quality or the level of play when it comes to that Real Madrid players compared to the Barcelona is definitely they are not on the same level. If we go head to head right now, I'm sure that more Barcelona players will go on best 11 compared to Real Madrid players when you look at how much they are performing. Look at Lewandowski. Is Lewandowski coming in for that game?
He's injured, hamstring injury.
Yeah.
As is the very, barring any miracles, Alejandro Balde won't play. And Ferland Mendy and Kylian Mbappe are expected to be back for this game.
I mean, I'm not really a Ferland Mendy guy. Like, anytime they mention the name, I'm like,
but I think
for
me,
I'll continue saying it. I know everybody has a different opinion, but I don't know how many go into a Real Madrid team.
I'm telling you, I don't
feel
know how he did it.
Whoever did the African magic, the person will have to be very strong.
You look at the kind of left back that Real Madrid has been having, Roberto Carlos.
Yeah, when you look at the standard, and you end up with a Mendy.
Ancelotti has hinted that I think Fran Garcia will start, and also
Fran Garcia is not even better.
After
no, I feel like Fran Garcia is better though.
No, he's better than Mendy. But he's better.
But for a Real Madrid level, no, I understand where you're coming from.
My kind of
I understand.
Real Madrid.
I mean, for the caliber of club we're speaking about, right? You're speaking about like world class, especially in those kind of key positions. When you're talking about the left back and right back, you're talking about left wing, right wing. So you're talking about the striking position. You're talking about somebody who's playing the attacking or defensive. Like, I mean, I might as well just say every round for a high team like a Real Madrid, you're talking about world class players. Okay, and when you look at that, okay, of course, injury here, you don't have so, but Mendy. Even for example, when I look at these likes of Fran Garcia playing, okay, on a good day, if these guys came to the Premier League, I'm telling you that they wouldn't even be playing for top 10 teams. I'm talking about the first 10 in Premier League. They wouldn't even qualify to get
Manchester United.
Maybe Manchester United. I'm a fan. But that's what I'm saying. But this is not Real Madrid. Even when you even speak about the likes of Lucas Vazquez, like For me, of course, he's been in the club for God knows how long, but the level of play right now is not for a Real Madrid, and that's why we'll continue saying this Real Madrid struggling. It's not going, like, this game against Barcelona, of course, Barcelona, they also have their weaknesses, not having these injuries, but, we've seen how the games that they are struggling to win, where they're having 1-0 win, you can still see that these guys are keeping the ball. These guys are having opportunities. The only problem is they're just not scoring it. But at least you can see that there's some level of gameplay going on. That's not what we see with Real Madrid. And Real Madrid facing this good Barcelona is going to be a serious problem on Saturday.
Some more team news, of course. We said Lewandowski out with a hamstring injury. Balde pretty much certain to be out for this game with another hamstring injury. Of course, he came off early against Leganés. Marc Castelló, Marc Bernal and Ter Stegen, of course, still on the sidelines recovering from their respective injuries. Mbappe and Ferland Mendy expected to be back. Mendy in the squad and Mbappe expecting to start. Eduardo Camavinga, of course, tearing his adductor last night and is missing the rest of the season. David Alaba has, of course, always as well been ruled out of this Saturday's Copa del Rey final. And the list of injuries for Real Madrid grows.
Alaba, I think
Dani
Alaba.
Carvajal and Eder Militao continue their recoveries. It's a difficult one when you
Alaba
look at
should
that
go and play
defence.
Or lawn tennis. No, this is not even. I feel like, see, listen. Everybody must not continue playing football till they are not Messi, they are not Ronaldo, right? Right now, if I was Alaba, I would be looking at sports like volleyball or maybe
Volleyball?
He's
Yeah, of
only
course.
32.
No, that's 32. Are you not seeing it? Listen, I'm not saying he doesn't know how to play or he's not fit up. But what I'm saying is, if the injury is not going to let you shine, right? Fine. Go and look at Ode Winger today. Ode Winger now has certificates in golfing, right? Like he's a professional.
Gareth Bale as well.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. No, see, there's no crime. You must enforce it because you are because people are even getting more angrier when they've waited all these months, all these years, or all these years, but at least close to a year. You come back.
Well, he's waited more than a year.
Sorry?
He waited more than a year.
Well, exactly. Yeah, Alaba, right? So if you
How
keep
old is he
coming,
again?
if you keep coming back with all of these injuries, maybe just call it a day. You've made money from you were like God knows maybe
He's been playing since like God knows
exactly.
when. 2010 World Cup he plays for. He's.
I mean, what
it's
are we
just-
talking? Stop it. I mean, I was going to say the same thing about Neymar. I was told that Neymar is even out of injured as well, right? Wherever
You should
Let
thank
go.
the boots now.
Back it up.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know since when I've been seeing Alaba from Bayern Munich, like playing from Bayern Munich? Is it with the time of Philip Lam? Like I've known Alaba to be there like since time immemorial, So he's been there like forever, and I really applaud his like consistency because he was consistent for a very long time. But maybe he's just overworked. All those work of all those years coming in as a teen and consistently playing, till date. I think it has told on him. Maybe he should just go to, to the US or Saudi and pick up some money and have an early retirement. Not early because he has played for a long time, but early in the sense that he's still young. He's still in his 30s.
A lot of them should retire, man. Like, I don't know why they are killing themselves, honestly, because I've noticed something, and I don't know if this is racial, but, when you look at people that have my kind of color, it feels like, there's that longevity thing is always going to be a problem. It might be genetics. I don't know what it is, because when you look at the likes of Ronaldo, guys who play ball like my man is refusing to quit. I'm sure that if you let Ronaldo be, he's going to probably play.
He said
till
he
he's
retired
45.
40.
No, but for me, that's like.
Isn't he 40 now?
That's a
Close
crazy.
to, I think.
That's the next level. That's the next level longevity. These are guys that play.
40 already.
He's 40. He said he
play-
retired 40.
They
He's 40
play
now.
a lot of football. And how many times you hear about them having all this sort of the question is, why do they not get as injured as some of these young? This is something I'm really
No, but
struggling to
sometimes they take care of
understand,
themselves. Ronaldo has lived a very regimented lifestyle. It's almost
when
like
you-
a military.
No,
Yeah,
but when you talk
man.
about when you
That's
talk
a
about
special
hold on,
case.
wait.
Yeah,
Let's
took care of
speak
it.
about this, because when people say, "Oh, Ronaldo takes care of himself," I don't think that's the reason why he's injury prone, though, or he's not injury prone. Let me tell you, because fact is, injury is not all about. If somebody comes and uses a stud and pierces through your bones, we've seen some kind of crazy tackles where you could easily send somebody out on like a year injury. And maybe that injury will continue having some kind of reoccurrence, right? My question is, are you sure it's really about looking after yourself, or is it about being wise on the pitch, right? Say, for example, this is my opinion. There are players that they understand the relationship between being a forward, an offensive player, versus the people you are playing against who are defenders that you need to pass. Because whether you like it or not, most of these injuries as a result of you being an offensive player, you will have people who are, for example, when you look at the likes of Sergio Ramos, of course, he has a reputation as don't go near close to Sergio Ramos. He's an animal. My man could literally send you on 2 years leave, like, proper paid leave, yeah? The question is, how, as a player, how talented are you? What's your level what's your level of skillfulness when it comes to being able to face this kind of defenders? Are you the type of player whom your style of play means you're prone to this kind of injuries from defenders? Or are you the type who's able to find a way to walk past these people without being
Oh, you're saying that if you're a good dribbler, does he help? Is that what you're saying? Because Dembele is a good dribbler.
I don't know if I would say if I would say good dribbler is the word I'm looking for. There's a difference between being a good dribbler and while you're dribbling, you are still able to avoid those type of contacts that sends you home. I don't think that makes
about
sense,
avoiding contact. I think also your body system, like your genes also plays a role. Like how much your body can take plays a role. That's where taking care now comes into play. Like now we see Dembele has hired a whole different team, to take care of him because he knows that he's injury prone. Like normally for whatever reason, maybe he wasn't even living a crazy lifestyle and all of that. But he's realized that his body cannot take what other players' bodies can take. Maybe any little contact he's prone to injury. So what do I do to avoid this now? Maybe I need to hire so number of it. Maybe I need to take better care of myself because if I take better care of myself, maybe to strengthen my bones, maybe to do this for me, maybe if I cut down on no more alcohol, just taking just water, certain things like that. You now have to make the conscious effort, knowing how your body system is. You make that conscious effort because I don't think you can avoid all the tackles.
No,
how many will you be jumping over? So once you see somebody coming,
no,
you
it's not about jumping.
avoid your leg or what?
Remember when we were speaking about Bukayo Saka yesterday and him not, so he doesn't get injured against the Champions League semi-final. And we're saying, no, you get the ball, you pass it out immediately, just so nobody comes to tackle you.
Well, that moves us on to our next topic actually quite nicely. Arsenal, Crystal Palace. We don't want to delve too much into the Copa del Rey final, of course, because we will be bringing you a 2-hour show starting at 8 p.m. South African time on YouTube. And, of course, well, join us, leave your comments, let us know who you think is going to win for that game. And can Real Madrid turn things around against Barcelona this season? Moving on to the Premier League, guys. Last night was, I think, the game that meant whoever does the trophy engraving for the Premier League started writing that L next to 2024-25 because Arsenal drew 2-2 with Crystal Palace. Jean-Philippe Mateta with a chipped equaliser for the South East London side. And Clinton, a disappointing result for Arsenal. I think they can wave goodbye to any slim title hopes they had.
To be honest, I didn't even know there was a title hope for them. But
Liverpool only need 1 point now to secure the title.
Liverpool just basically needs to draw again.
If they draw against Tottenham at the weekend...
I mean, which we know that they're not going to draw against Tottenham. As a matter of fact,
win.
Tottenham, I thought they might now... Okay, maybe they might...
They might draw against Tottenham. Because
draw against Tottenham.
They just lost to Nottingham Forest. No, they just lost to Nottingham Forest.
A Sunday League team will beat Tottenham right now. What are you talking about, man?
So, Clinton, Liverpool, Spurs... It's the title it's the game that's going to win Liverpool the title. They need a point, but they're probably going to get 3, given that Spurs have got the Europa League semi-final to contend with. Are you, in a way, surprised to see how well Liverpool have done this season? I think, given the change from Jurgen Klopp to Arne Slot?
No, honestly, I think we've got to give credit to Klopp, first of all, because I think what Klopp did was he pretty much set some kind of, I don't know if I would say, he put him on the best track to take on that club. And when you look at a team of players, these are a team of players who felt very motivated. And I think he came just at the right time. There are some coaches that, you give such a team and you would literally see the opposite. We see Liverpool, come on, we saw what they did in the Champions League. I mean, it wasn't really Look at PSG dismantling them like home and away. Of course, they won one of it, but we don't even remember. Nobody thinks that, or nobody even. Sorry, I'm in for.
One game I do want to focus on: Bournemouth against Manchester United, 8th versus 14th, and Bournemouth are the team in 8th. Manchester United are the team in 14th. Yes, it's still something strange to say for me. Bournemouth are 1 win in 5, United 1 win in 5. We know United have got their eyes on the Europa League. Clinton, you look at this game, and I want to link it to Jean-Philippe Mateta last night. We've talked about Xerxes this season. We've talked about Højlund. Is Jean-Philippe Mateta the sort of striker you would like to see at Manchester United?
Listen, there's no difference between who Mateta is and a Victor Osimhen.
You think they're the same level of striker?
I swear, God, I know I shouldn't be saying that on TV, but I swear to God.
Wow.
I'm telling you for real. Because remember, this is not the first time I would be speaking about that Mateta guy. Remember during the Olympics that was going on in Paris? Mm-hmm. It was happening in Paris. I think he was one of the players that were selected for France. And I kept on speaking on this show. I said, listen, this is somebody we need to look out for. When you look at the manner of striker that he is, I see a proper Victor Osimhen DNA in him. And when you look at even the likes of Haaland, listen, the only problem that we don't see him shine the way he is expected to is only because for the kind of team he plays for.
Well, since Oliver Glasner's appointment in February of 2024, only Mohamed Salah, Erling Haaland, and Alexander Isak have scored more goals in the Premier League than Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Well, exactly. So you see, that's to tell you how good this man. And the crazy thing is, I've just not started speaking about him this year. I've watched him play. So I've watched so many games that this guy has featured in, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not just even about the goal. It's about the manner at which this guy finds the goal. And this is the reason why I'm speaking about a Victor Osimhen here. Because when I watch a Victor Osimhen play, right, first of all, he's got the physicality, he's got the height, he's got the, in Nigeria, I would say the agidi, you know what I'm trying to say? They say the agidi.
The stamina.
The stamina, right? This guy, if he goes to a proper team, where people would see the manner of player that he is, right? I'm telling you, in the next 2 years, assuming he keeps on, he's consistent.
He's 27, right? By the way. Just putting it out there. Say in the next 2 years.
Okay.
29 by the
Yeah, but come on. Yes, of course. But wait, how old is Osimhen?
I have to check. I don't know how.
I think Osimhen's about 26 or something.
25.
25.
26.
26, exactly. 26.
Okay.
So for me, I think he is operating on that Osimhen level. But the reason why we don't get to see Mateta and what he's made of is because he plays for, in fact, a bottom table team in the Premier League. Of course, this season, they've not done too bad in terms of where they are. But
you say bottom table. They're in 12th now. They're above Manchester United.
Yeah, but is that not bottom table, though?
It's the bottom half.
Bottom
Exactly.
table.
It's the bottom half. That's what it is. That's what
be like relegation.
But they are closer to 10 than
From 1 to 10 is upper.
Yeah.
The other one is the bottom. Exactly. So for me, if he was playing for, let's say, a top 7 teams, right? The whole conversation would have been different. When you look at a Chris Wood, why are we speaking about Chris Wood today? It's because obviously it's now Nottingham Forest. They are now on that part of the table where we are beginning to now compare Nottingham Forest to the likes of, say, the Chelseas and the rest of them. But if Mateta was playing for, say, a team like a Chelsea, yeah, or he was playing for a team like maybe an Arsenal. If I was Arsenal, yeah, if I was Arsenal, on God, Arsenal fans, this is the guy they should be looking for.
He would be.
There's no striker.
I'm just looking at the way Arsenal plays.
That is better than
No, nobody's saying he's. I'm just looking at the way Arsenal plays. Style of play, so you can struggle. Arsenal plays this kind of tiki-taka football and all of that. So I'm looking at how he's going to fare in the setup.
No. Listen.
That's my only concern.
In my opinion, this guy in Arsenal, right? Because the truth is, Arsenal, they do create chances. All they have is somebody who doesn't take the chances, right? This guy is coming with not just being a scorer for you. He's also coming with some kind of addition.
Like an Olivier Giroud.
I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to put him as an Olivier Giroud.
No, because you're looking at positioning now and not, somebody that would just position. Because you said they can send the ball.
Okay. So
like
positioning-wise, definitely.
He has the height.
Okay. Position-wise, Olivier Giroud, definitely. But for me, it's even more of what Haaland does for Manchester City, that whole play, right? When the ball comes in, that being able to at least guide what we even see with Victor Osimhen, right? I've seen it so many times with this young man, right? Okay, an old man because he's 27 now, right? In football, you're 27, you're old.
Yeah.
But no, in football, you're old, definitely.
Prime.
Right? Prime.
Yeah, it's like in the perfect
But
moment.
listen, in Arsenal, if he plays for Arsenal, Manchester United, the reason why I would not pray he plays there is because Manchester United are not in the place where people would see him. Come on, we're speaking about now, they're even worse than even the Crystal Palace currently. So,
But I think they get more viewership than.
No, they get more viewers. And also, if they win the Europa, they play Champions League football, right?
true.
So it just means that Mateta would be featured in the championship.
That's if now. If
From the way things are going, Manchester might actually win
I've
Europa.
heard of
you
that.
know?
They have eyes on him.
I feel. Oh, I mean, I pray. I pray.
will.
But my own is, I want Mateta to be in a team
Where
that
he can
people
shine even
be
more.
able to see him.
Lucrezia,
shine.
do we have any fellow Jean-Philippe Mateta admirers in the comments here?
So we have a comment about the game that just happened between Crystal Palace and Arsenal. They're saying Crystal Palace possession with Arsenal was expected. Arsenal used the second starting 11, so like the second team, I guess. You would not expect Arteta to use the starting 11 when you still have another league pending. So I guess they were saying they should just focus on Champions League. Oh, then we have, I agree with ClintonCod, Mateta would flourish if it was in a better club.
There you go.
You go, Clinton.
That's
People
literally
agree
what it
with
is, honestly.
yeah, but that better club is here now.
We're talking about a...
No, I'm just saying.
I like the fact that you like violence, though. Are you trying to trigger?
No.
Are you trying to trigger Arsenal fans? No, wait, no. No, wait. Wait, Alex.
Arsenal fans, get in the comments.
Wait, Arsenal fans.
The sort of
Arsenal
striker
fans.
that you want.
I said Mateta deserves a club, and I mentioned Arsenal, and Angel said that is Arsenal the top? Wait, how did she say it?
She said, well, I think you said
the
he
better
would flourish
club
in
is
a top
Arsenal.
club, and she said, is Arsenal a top club? Or
No, I said, and that
in a
better
better,
club is
in a
here.
better.
Is that better club Arsenal for real? Arsenal, they are current. See, if case not taken, Arsenal might win Champions League. Arsenal, they are second in the league table.
Yes. Nobody is saying that they are not.
Arsenal.
Nobody is saying that they are not now. What I'm saying is he going to thrive in Arsenal?
She's
because of the
questioning
way
if
they are
this
set up.
the
Yeah,
right-
because of
I
the way
know,
they are
I
set
feel
up.
like
Even
for his
Chelsea, I
caliber
don't
of
feel like
striker,
he
though.
would even thrive in Chelsea more than he would thrive in Arsenal.
No,
that's why I said that better team. So that he doesn't go to a team where he begins to struggle.
I think he will thrive in Arsenal and Chelsea.
Yeah.
See, this is the reason why I say, for the manner of striker that he is, I've just given you the different qualities that Mateta brings to the table, right? Mateta positioning is there, right? Scoring is there. When it comes to hold play, which right now, if you are a striker and you have that, that's a bonus to you. So that's the reason why last season or last 2 seasons, Haaland was shining. Haaland was not just a goal scorer. He was the guy that, with his body, the ball comes in, he's able to hold it while people are running in for him to just send it, and then he runs again. Mateta has that energy.
So Isak and Mateta, who would you pick for Arsenal? If you
Obviously, Isak. Everybody will say Isak. Why? Because, of course, the way Arsenal is designed.
That brings me back to that point about the design.
No,
the way
but that's
the team
not.
plays.
No, but that's what.
That
no,
brings
listen,
me back to
listen,
the point
listen,
of how they play.
Listen, Isak is a different manner of striker. Yeah? But what I'm explaining to you here is, if there was no Isak, for example, and Arsenal needs a striker, I'm saying that, right, Mateta goes in there.
Okay.
He might not be that, because the difference between Mateta and Isak is the fact that Isak is a proper skillful player.
Yeah.
He's a dribbler. Isak can literally move around people, right?
Okay.
And Isak, when it comes to shooting the ball to the net, it feels like he can do it from anywhere and he's on target.
Okay. What about Ollie Watkins?
I'm not. See, no. Hold on.
just
I'm
asking.
not.
Like,
do you know the funny
Mateta,
thing?
would
Do you know
you-
the funny thing? I would take Mateta anytime over and Oli Watkins.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'm telling you, like, this is me. I don't care about you guys, but this is me.
I
Why?
would
Because
say
for
it-
the kind of
it
football I
depends
love
on
to
the
watch.
team.
But that's the
But
thing.
somebody that can hustle
It's
ball,
because
I would say Mateta
of
because
course,
he has that,
he
that
has
thing
that
to
body.
hustle the ball.
But
And all of that,
what's the job of a striker, though?
But do you think
Yeah.
he's... I know you're looking for a striker to score goals, but do you think Mateta is... He's a brilliant striker and he's done fantastically at Crystal Palace, but do you think he's got what it takes to do it at a top club where the pressure is that much
No,
higher.
but this is the reason why I'm saying that Mateta in a club that's not high and is scoring against top teams, against even playing with average players,
No,
and
I'm
he's still able
saying,
to.
Yeah.
can he deal with the pressure of a bigger
No,
club?
it's not. But Mateta is
was.
not about pressure, though. Wait? Why do you think they sent him to go play at the Olympics, being the main guy
Yeah,
for
but
France? No, but
there's a lot more pressure on Manchester United strikers than France's strikers at the Olympics.
no. See, Alex. Let's because pressure is individual, right?
That's what I'm saying. Do you think he can deal with that pressure?
I feel like he would overdeal with it. I think that's the thing. His manner of personality when you see him on the pitch, I don't think pressure would ever be a problem for Mateta. As a matter of fact, if Mateta finds himself in a team where the chances are being created, because already he's in a team that, I mean, we're not going to call them
You know
top
that
team.
sometimes some people they can be doing very well in there. We've seen Ross Barkley.
Yes.
Was shining
Yes.
somewhere in Everton.
Yes.
They moved him to Chelsea.
Yeah,
Struggled.
I mean, he even went to
Yeah.
Luton. In
Yeah.
fact, you know, it was even they even
You
got
guys,
relegated.
Exactly.
Yes,
you
yes.
see players move and then
When
they
you
come to the
see-
big
when
team.
you see those
you
kind of
think that
players-
opportunity is going to pop up,
Yes.
and then they come there and they misuse
No,
it.
but
They never,
yeah.
they
No,
just
no,
never shine.
No, but that's the funny thing. This is why I say when you look into players, right? Of course, I know this exists. Me, when I see players who I know they will thrive anywhere, Mateta gives me that vibe of that kind of person. I give an example. When you look at the Victor Osimhen, some people mention, Victor Boniface, the reason why he doesn't want to come play in the Premier League because he knows he's not going to succeed there, right? Fact is, when I look at the Victor Boniface, sometimes I tend to agree with people because I know his manner of play. Yeah? Honestly, I wouldn't want him to come to the Premier League because his type of play, I don't think is Premier. If he comes, they will silence him proper, right? But there are players that when you look at them, you just know that with the kind of player that you are, with the kind of mentality that you have, right? And look at Victor Osimhen. I believe that Victor Osimhen walks into any team on a good day. It's not because of how he plays or whatever, but he has that mentality, the physicality, and you as a striker, your job being to score goal. Do you do it? He's done it in Napoli. He's gone to Galatasaray. He's doing it so easily. Of course, people will say they are playing in some kind of weird league or whatever. But when you look at it, there are other players. We've seen so many players from the Premier League who have come to Spain and they flopped. And there are people that they move around. Sometimes I think that it's not even about how difficult a league is. It's just the manner of player that you are that distinguishes you from every other person. Mateta has that kind of aura that you just know that it's not about which team or whatever. All Mateta just needs is the chance. The question, okay, look at Nicholas Jackson. How many chances did they create for him for Chelsea? How many of them?
I don't even know how that guy found his way to Chelsea. When I saw it, honestly, so don't even use him as an example.
No, but you know the funny thing.
It's like when Arsenal signed Nicolas Pepe. He was the same thing for me. Like,
I agree.
how?
I
Who
agree.
did this? This agent must be so good because how did you convince them to sign this player?
But do you know the
Nicolas
funny
Jackson?
thing? But do you know the funny thing? There are some Chelsea fans that will tell you that Nicolas Jackson is class. And you know, let me now, hold on. Let me now tell you about Nicolas Jackson now. Nicolas Jackson is actually not a bad player. He's just a bad striker. It's very simple.
Doesn't that make him a bad
The
player?
player
striker.
but that's the thing.
striker.
No,
That's
but
what you're saying.
No. But see, you guys just need to understand that statement, right? When you look at Nicolas Jackson, what he does when it comes to dropping to come and find the ball, when you're talking about link-up play, right? There is no any player in Chelsea that I think does the better link-up play than Nicolas Jackson, in my opinion, especially when he's dropping to that midfield, before he's trying to work that attack. But when it comes to his action in front of the goal, that's where Nicolas Jackson has problem.
Which means he's a bad player because
He's not
he's
a
a striker.
He's not a bad. No, look at. Okay, are you going to say?
Okay,
Are you going to say
hold
because
on.
Darwin Núñez cannot score for Liverpool is a bad player?
I think
What are you?
perhaps the better way of saying it is he's not a complete player. And I think...
If you're not complete, you're half. You're not.
Yeah.
No, but
Because they did
I
not
just
pay
told you.
half price for him.
No,
They paid full price.
No, listen. I just told you guys, I just gave you a very typical example now, right? Darwin Núñez.
Hoyland.
Hold on.
Hoyland
I don't like Hoyland. I don't like Hoyland. I don't like Hoyland.
On the subject of strikers, Lucrezia, I think there are a few people that are putting in their opinions on, or having something to say about what Clinton said there, comparing Osimhen and Mateta.
Yeah, I see a lot of people saying that Osimhen is much better. Then they're saying Mateta would strive be better at Chelsea than at Arsenal, in my opinion, and it would fit in perfectly in terms of how Chelsea plays. Clinton is just talking about mentality. Let's look at let's look at things in a more systematic way. And then I also have another comment that I wanted to read. Not agreeing with Clinton, saying, hey, Clinton, Mateta is not a prolific striker. It's just a one-season striker. Watch the man next season, and I bet you it won't turn up.
You see, now they are talking about the future. They are not even speaking about what he's doing now. You see where the problem is? Because at the end of the day, an agent wants to buy him. What are they looking at the future, or are they looking at the present?
But then also look at whether you replicate the same thing that you did. You're not
and how are you going to find out if he's going to replicate it?
By giving him next season. Don't buy him. Don't buy him.
No, but if do you know how many players that they've watched from?
For a so-called one-season wonder, last season he scored 16 goals in the Premier League. This season he scored 14 goals in the Premier League. There's no reason why he shouldn't carry on scoring in the same way next season if he's in a better team.
Yeah. Maybe if you hit the 20-goal mark, then we can begin to bring him into the conversation of the big four.
Let's come back.
The big six.
Let's come back to what we're speaking about Nicholas Jackson, because I know quite a few people are mentioning Nicholas Jackson, right? You know, it's been a long time.
You were mentioning Nicholas Jackson.
Clinton, I have a comment from before that I skipped.
Okay,
saying, we need Clinton at Chelsea as replacement to Jackson.
I mean, to be honest,
You will go
striking position. I know I'll do way better than Nicholas Jackson. I'm a striker, though. I'm an actual striker.
You go from 0 to minus 0.000.
I do want to touch on a few other things before we finish, because we've only got 5 minutes left. Jean-Philippe Mateta's chat has taken up quite a long time, as much as I love it.
But do you not think that every chat here has taken a long time?
Yeah, it is.
Because you keep talking.
Very talkative today.
So we want to finish. Well, we've done the Premier League, we've done Spain. I want to move to Italy.
Sorry, wait, hold on. Somebody just mentioned that. I know, read that last comment. I'm sorry, please.
The last comment?
From Albert.
How can I?
Yeah.
Wait.
No. Sorry, from
ones.
Barcelona.
How can a professional player be bad? Well, Clinton calls himself a professional footballer.
But
he's bad.
Yeah, he's bad.
I do want to touch. I want to go to Italy.
Yes.
More specifically, Milan.
Look at Shantelle.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, guys. I mean, it was a great night for
AC Milan beat
AC
Inter Milan 3-0 in the second leg of the Coppa Italia, meaning they are now in the final of the Coppa Italia, just awaiting
most likely
Bologna or Empoli, but Bologna, of course, winning the first leg 3-0.
Empoli's relegations,
Did you see that one coming, Lucrezia?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, Inter's they have been playing a lot, they're tired, but this season, AC Milan has a good history with the derbies. Like, we haven't lost one. And
3 wins and 2 draws?
Yeah, we came from 6-time losing against them to, 3 wins, 2 draws. I don't know.
It could also be because Inter's focus is on the Champions League. They have
tired.
a big game against, they're big boys now. They don't play local
season,
anymore. So
we just showed up against them. So
they just left the
AC
9th place team to just, enjoy why they focus on the big things. You get what I mean?
But they looked tired. They didn't look like the usual Inter yesterday night. The defense was all over the place. AC Milan had a lot of space. I don't know. I was talking to you about this earlier. I think AC Milan not having an identity was maybe the advantage they had, because the other teams don't really know what to expect. Sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're good. It doesn't work, of course, in the long run, but against, I don't know, we have seen it with Inter, we've seen it against Real Madrid. They beat Real Madrid 3-1 here at the Bernabeu. They can surprise the teams they face.
Do you think if they win the Coppa Italia, that is enough for Sergio Conceição to keep a job, or not?
Not really.
Not really?
No. Also because I wouldn't really give the Super Cup to him, because it was his second game, That's just a good team performance, or a poor performance by Inter, whatever you want to see it. But no. I think AC Milan needs to start fresh. I'm still on that wavelength.
Clinton, are you looking at that result last night for AC Milan? If they win the Coppa Italia, they'll be in the Europa League next season, but it's not the Champions League. Can you see, and particularly talking about the former Chelsea boys and some of the other players in that squad, Tijani Reinders, who are some of the best players in the world and have been performing, but without that Champions League football, can you see a few of them making their way to other clubs?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it all depends on the players. I feel like...
Look at Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, I mean, you see, first of all, I think AC Milan, I'm quite surprised as to where they are in the Serie A table currently. It's like one of those shockers. But then again, why are we shocked when we've seen the likes of Manchester United even worse? I think there's just some kind of turn when it comes to football. A lot of things have kind of changed, especially this season, and I think them having a trophy, I mean, I'm assuming that they actually, indeed win the Coppa Italia. I think it's a, it will end up becoming some kind of consolidation.
Yeah, it will be two trophies this season, despite the bad performance in the league.
Yeah.
As you said, it would give something to the players to look
of
forward
course,
to for next
of course,
season. And it will allow them to not leave.
Yeah.
Because AC Milan without Reinders in the midfield would be a disaster.
To tell you how bad AC Milan is, let me just read out some of their players. You know them. So they have Luka Jovic, they have Christian Pulisic, Rafael Leao, Theo Hernandez, Reinders, they have Fikayo Tomori, who you know, they have Manon, they have Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Tammy Abraham, João Felix, amongst others. So with this crop of players, you should be contending for the league, no for the Scudetto. You should be talking about winning the Scudetto, do you understand? Like, so much quality. Yeah, even on the bench. To tell you, like, Tammy Abraham comes from the bench, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, in that game, they came from the bench, and João Felix. That's to tell you, like, the quality of players that they have in that setup, yet they still struggle. So it doesn't matter whether they win the Coppa Italia or not. That's not even where they should be. They should be talking about winning the Coppa Italia and contending for the league, or even still making an appearance.
I mean, why are we speaking like we're surprised, like what happens in football? Like, listen. I feel like these things happen in nearly all leagues. When you look at when you look at the Premier League, I mean, look at West Ham, look at Tottenham. Like, do we want to speak about Tottenham, in the first place?
This is AC Milan. You can't even compare them with Tottenham.
No, I'm not gonna. These are all top teams in their leagues, though. Like, what?
Yeah, but when you can't even compare, when you're talking about AC Milan, maybe you should be talking about bigger clubs, not this West Ham that you're talking about.
I just mentioned Tottenham, though.
And Tottenham,
as much as I would love to stay on Tottenham, we have actually run out of time today.
Okay.
Believe it or not, we've covered a lot. We've covered Spanish football. We've covered the Premier League. We've done a little bit in Italy. But that isn't it for the week, of course. I talked about all the games that we have on Sporty TV this weekend. But
by the way, Leganés are one goal down.
They are. Christian Stuani with the goal for Girona. But 8 o'clock South African time, that is 7 o'clock WAT and 6 o'clock GMT. In South Africa, we're going to be on YouTube. We're going to be previewing the Copa del Rey final. And it's going to be live on YouTube in South Africa. Barcelona against Real Madrid. Lucrezia, Angel, Clinton, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you,
guys, for listening and watching this show. And, well, we'll see you on Saturday.
Saturday, man, Real Madrid. What, guys? Copa del Rey FINAL, is it being played in Sevilla?
Yeah, Sevilla. Do you not know?
Have you ever seen the flamenco dancing?
Come on, man.
Flamenco.
Can you imagine Clinton doing flamenco dancing?
Can I imagine you doing flamenco dancing?
Cuando paso por el puente Triana, contigo vida mía. Cuando paso por el puente Triana, contigo vida mía, Triana, contigo vida mía. Con mirarte solamente, Triana.